Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on what is a pretty gloomy, wet Tuesday out there, but we're edging ever closer to the return of Premier League football. What are we now? 5 days away from Arsenal getting back to action at Ellen Road. Feels like a lifetime ago, that Aston Villa game. Hopefully Arsenal can put that defeat to the back of their minds and return and show it was just a blip when they head up to Ellen Road on Sunday. But a few days to go until then. We'll be speaking to Mikel Arteta in his weekly press conference or pre-match press conference on Friday morning. And I will, as usual, pop on and do a video after that to just basically describe what Mikel Arteta had to say and anything big to come from it. So I thought I'd just pop on here today to go through a few of Arsenal things that are doing the rounds. And we will start with Mohamed Elneny. Now, I'm sure you have seen the news that Mohamed Elneny has tested positive for COVID while away with Egypt on the international break. I mean, why on earth they've had this international break now? It just seems mad to me. I know you want to get fixtures done, and you got the Euros qualifiers, which have now been done, the playoffs, and so they had to do it in a way. They had to do it, but still, just seems in the middle of a pandemic when rates are rising throughout Europe to send players away from their secure bubbles that they're in here all around the world. It was always going to lead to problems. We've seen it already with several players, and now it's hit home with Arsenal, with Elneny testing positive while away with Egypt. Now, the positive test came when he was in Togo ahead of their game. He has since returned to Cairo, where he is now, as far as I understand it, and they are waiting results on another swab that was taken. And that will decide, basically it will be the second positive, which everyone's pretty much expecting it will be. Now, Arsenal are in contact with Mohamed Elneny. I've spoken to people at Arsenal today about it. They're in contact. They're trying to get a full picture of exactly what has gone on in terms of when tests were taken, when results have come back, and trying to get a clearer picture of exactly what is happening now. It's not ideal that Mohamed Elneny is obviously in Egypt. Arsenal would want him to come back here so they can basically know exactly where he is and what's going on and what people are around him. But it is clouded by the fact he is over in Cairo. So Arsenal are in regular contact with Elneny's agent, with Elneny himself, and are looking to find out exactly what they can do in the situation. But it might be tough to get Mohamed Elneny back into the country. We'll have to wait and see. It may well be that he has to go through his quarantine period abroad. Like I said, he's in Cairo at the moment, and Arsenal will try and speak to the authorities, and they'll have to talk to government as well to see what they can do. But at the moment, Elneny is in Cairo, and providing that the latest test comes back positive, which I'm pretty sure we're all expecting that it will do, it could well be that he has to stay there, and that will mean he'll miss certainly this game this weekend against Leeds. I think we can definitely write him out for that one. And it could be that he misses the games following that as well, because would have to undergo his 2-week sort of period of quarantine dating back from that positive test. So not ideal for Arsenal, certainly not ideal for Elneny at a time when he's just forced his way back into the first team picture at Arsenal. Wants to be playing as much as possible, doesn't want to give up his space in the side, but he's certainly going to have to do that at Ellen Road, and it will be interesting to see who Mikel Arteta goes from. Obviously, we have the situation with Thomas Partey as well, and his injury that he got against Aston Villa. As I said yesterday, there is a belief around Partey's camp and the player himself that he may well be okay to be in the squad against Leeds on Sunday. Mikel Arteta will be holding his press conference, as I said, on Friday, and he'll give an update on that. But people that I've spoken to who are sort of aware of the situation and how Partey is feeling, he's in himself fairly confident that he might make it for the Leeds game. If he doesn't, then Arsenal are obviously going to be without two of the key midfielders that they've had in recent weeks, and the two midfielders they had starting in that win against Manchester United in their last away game in the Premier League, and that was not ideal for Mikel Arteta. So what do you do? Bring in Granit Xhaka, you got Dani Ceballos as well. So be certainly some decisions Mikel Arteta will have to make, but hopefully, fingers crossed, at least Thomas Partey will be available for the game against Leeds, but we'll have to wait and see about that. All right, I just wanted to talk a little bit about Dominik Szoboszlai, a player that you guys are all very, very into. I get it on my social media accounts, I get it in the comments here on YouTube about just how many of you want to see Arsenal sign Dominik Szoboszlai. Now, I've spoken in the past, I spoke in my last video about him, about Arsenal's position going into January. He is a player that Arsenal like and have been watching. He is certainly one on their list, but he's also on the list of so many clubs across Europe because of his performances for Salzburg, where he's very, very good. His performances for Hungary as well, scored that fabulous goal to get him into the Euros earlier in the international break. Now, a few people have been talking about Szoboszlai, and I just wanted to go over what they've had to say. We'll start with Salzburg boss Jesse Marsch, who's been speaking about him recently, and he thinks that he will leave in January. He says certainly likely that he might leave in January. He was asked a question, and he said, yes, the reality is a guy like Szoboszlai is likely to have many suitors this winter. He's an incredible talent. So Jesse Marsch believes that there's a good chance Szoboszlai might well leave in January. According to his agent, however, he's sort of he's sitting on the fence a little bit with it. His agent says whether it's in January or next summer, the most important thing is that he goes to a club where he has a good chance of playing it regularly and continuing the learning curve he started at Salzburg. That's the most important thing for us. Obviously, it's no secret that Dominik is closer now to leaving the Austrian League. Look, the fact is he will be leaving the Austrian League. There's no doubt about it. It's just a matter of when. Will it be January? Will it be the summer? Most clubs are going to wait, given the financial situation, and I include Arsenal in this. It's unlikely that there's going to be big moves happening in January. I've said that before. It's far likelier that teams are going to wait until the summer. They're going to know exactly what sort of finances they have available, and that is when they'll push the button and try and make those big deals. The little thing with Szoboszlai is that he does have this release clause that we've heard about of around 25 million euros. So it's not masses. It is a lot still. It's a huge amount of money. But in terms of football, it's not a huge transfer fee. So that might tempt people into doing business. From an Arsenal point of view, I do worry about Leipzig in all of this. We know the link up between the two clubs, the Red Bull clubs. So many players move from Salzburg to Leipzig before making the next step. And I do kind of worry about, whether he's going to end up at Leipzig like so many other players from Salzburg have done before him. There is the fact that I mentioned the release clause that might stop it because anyone can come in and trigger that release clause and get the opportunity to speak to him, and he might be more appealed to move to London, to Arsenal, than he would to Leipzig. But that's hearsay, that's speculation. That's me just presuming. So yeah, it's an interesting one. It's certainly one to keep an eye on. We're going to hear his name pop up time and time again as we get towards January, which isn't far away now. But certainly those comments from two people very close to him, his manager and his agent, kind of shows the uncertainty. One of them thinking he might go in January, the other one sitting more on the fence and talking about the summer as well. So one to keep an eye on, but certainly a player that Arsenal like and will try and be in the mix if he is going to be leaving at some point in the very near future. Another player who is attracting some headlines at the moment I want to talk about, Matteo Gunedouzi. Obviously an Arsenal player. He's over on Hertha Berlin for the season. I think he's probably played his last ever game for Arsenal. I can't see him coming back and making it here now unless maybe there's a change of manager, which I certainly don't hope. I hope there's not going to be a change of manager because that would mean that Arsenal are doing very, very badly and we don't want that again. We want a bit of stability at the club. But he's obviously had the big falling out with Mikel Arteta. Yes, he did come back to train with the senior squad at the start of this season, but it's not something that's been really dealt with and bridged. There is that issue here. That's why he's now over in Hertha Berlin, and he started well at Hertha Berlin, having had COVID earlier on and had to wait for his debut. He's now played pretty well, and the sporting director at Hertha has been speaking about him. He said 3 months ago Matteo's loan signing wasn't possible, but it was at the beginning of October. We are happy that he's here and that he's enriched our game from the start. We'll see everything else next summer, how the prices will develop by then and what Arsenal is planning to do. Nobody can say today. As I said, I expect Arsenal will look to cash in on Matteo Guendouzi at the end of this season. He'll only have a year left on his contract. Highly unlikely that he'll sign a new contract, just given the situation, given his relationship with the manager. Not just the manager, but the hierarchy as well. It all became pretty strained after what happened at Brighton last season and the fallout from that. Not so much what happened at Brighton, but certainly the fallout from that incident of Brighton. The relationships between coaching staff and hierarchy became strained, and I can't see that being fixed at the end of this season. So the likelihood for me is that Arsenal certainly look to get some money in for Guendouzi, and we'll hope that he performs very well as he started for Hertha this season, and that his price tag can go up a little bit. It's not going to be huge just because he's only got a year left in his contract, but I'd be very surprised if he comes back and makes it at Arsenal after this summer. But good luck to him anyway, and hopefully he continues to play well for Hertha. Arsenal will certainly be hoping that as I said, because it will boost that price tag up a little bit. One last little thing I wanted to talk about, thought some interesting quotes that are doing the rounds now. It's just come out with 442. They've got an exclusive interview with Willian that's going to be appearing in their December edition. So any Willian fans out there, I know he's getting a bit of grief at the moment, but I'm sure there are plenty of them. It'd be worth picking up the magazine. Always a fantastic read, 442. And he's done a little bit of an interview talking about all the rumours with Barca. He's been linked with Barca so long before he came to Arsenal. And he says, there are always rumours, but I didn't know about any other official offer other than Arsenal. Indeed, there's a lot of talk about Barcelona for the past few seasons, but I wouldn't have gone there just because they're Barca. I wouldn't go to any club without hearing about their targets and what they wanted from me. It wouldn't be nice to get to be there or anywhere else if you weren't going to be a big part of the project and didn't play much. Arsenal were the only club to show me a project that would fit my ambitions, and they're one of the biggest clubs in the world. It's quite interesting stuff from Willian there, certainly hinting at the fact that Arsenal got the deal done for him because of the project, because of what they sold to him, and certainly because of what Mikel Arteta had in plan for him. Now, will he still be in the team when Arsenal play Leeds on Sunday? That's a big one. I covered it in a video I did yesterday. I wrote a piece on it as well, and it's going to be an intriguing thing when we see that Mikel Arteta's team selection for that game against Leeds when it is announced an hour before kickoff at Ellen Road. For me, as I said yesterday, don't see how Willian and Lacazette make that team. I think he's got to make changes, and for me, I'd be playing Aubameyang as central striker. I'd be playing Pepe on the right and Bukayo Saka on the left. Just a little bit on Aubameyang. He played yesterday for Gabon after all that controversy, I'd say, about what happened at the airport in Gambia ahead of that game. Aubameyang obviously very, very voiceful on social media about that incident, and when they were kept there at the airport for about 9 hours, only allowed out 10 hours up before kickoff, had to sleep on the airport floor, and he got a couple of hours sleep. Aubameyang said it was going to give all the motivation they needed for that game against Gambia. Didn't quite work out like that. Gabon losing 2-1, so not the ideal way for Aubameyang to end that trip. Not the ideal international break for Aubameyang, and probably not for Arsenal either, given their captain had to spend a night on the floor at an airport with very, very little sleep. But fingers crossed he is coming back unscathed and there's no injury, so at least there is that for Arsenal. Thanks everyone for watching today's video. I will be back, like I said, as we get closer towards the weekend with Mikel Arteta's press conference on Friday, as we all start gearing up to the return of the Premier League. Arsenal heading to Leeds United. Thanks for watching everyone. Enjoy your day.